Hello YouTube, this is Mahadev the Thunder Wizard. Today we're going to talk about the one thing you can do which is guaranteed to blow a hole into the matrix. And we're going to be talking about why you can't escape. Obviously these are two different things. If you're blowing a hole into the fabric of the matrix, of course, you then escape through that. But what is it that keeps you trapped? And it really comes down to doing or not doing this one thing. So, I am the kind of person that I like to make sure that I walk my talk. So I don't know if you ever saw the movie Gandhi. I assume this really happened. I only saw it in the movie. But a woman comes to Gandhi and brings her child with him and says, "Teacher, tell my child to stop eating sugar." And he says, "Come back in a month." She looks at him strangely, and she turns around and leaves, does what he says. She comes back a month later and he says, "Stop eating sugar," to the little kid. And when asked, "Why did you do that?" he said, "When she first came to me, I was eating sugar." So he didn't want to tell somebody to do something that he himself was doing. So I had to follow through with my own teaching. As you know, what I teach is that if you take fearless action towards accomplishing what your soul wants you to do, the thing that makes you happy, that gives you joy, if you take fearless action towards that, the universe will always support you. In fact, the universe must give you all of the resources necessary for you to function and survive. And most of us, including me, most of us want things backwards. When we know we have to take action towards something that we want, and it's challenging, and it's risky, and it's frightening, we want to wait until we have all the resources first. Then we go out and take action towards what we want. But the universe is not designed that way. The universe is designed to respond to you. By the way, before I go any further, I must say that this channel is not about you listening to me talk. If you're watching me right now and the only thing that you do in terms of interacting with this channel is listening to me talk, you are wasting 99.9% of the benefit that you could be getting from this channel. This channel is about doing the work. It's about doing the energy practices. So before I go any further, if you're new to this channel and you want to know how to overcome the matrix, if you want to know how to transcend, how to make yourself available to bring in, if you believe in a 5D shift, if you want to be able to bring that in, you have to create it. And that's going to come by you changing and raising the energy within your body, not just all this intellectualization. That's what the thunderwizard.com website is about. And again, I have to say, I don't understand anybody who comes onto this channel and doesn't subscribe to that. I don't understand that. For less than what it costs you to go to Starbucks and wait in line in your car to get your daily Kappa Frappa Macchiato or whatever the hell it is that you get. For less than that, you're going to get access to spiritual practices that I had to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars to learn. Things that were not available to the average person. Not available to anybody unless you were invited to learn it. So it's hard for me to have compassion for people complaining about how challenging their life is when I'm literally handing you the keys to not only achieving what you want, but becoming a superhuman in terms of energy and spirituality. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, it's very hard for me to have compassion for the challenges you go through. So let me just make that clear. This channel is about doing the practices. You don't want to subscribe? I have another solution for you, so that you won't have an excuse to feel sorry for yourself and call yourself a victim. Well, I can't afford it. Well, great. I've given you free stuff, but that means you actually have to go and look on the playlists, and you have to go do the Awakening the Immortals Qigong or Thor's Belt or any one of the other hundreds of free exercises, meditations, rituals. If you're not doing that and you're just coming here and listening to me, it's almost a waste of time, because you need power to be able to do the things that we talk about. If you don't have the power, it's going to be virtually impossible for you to break through the matrix, which is what we're talking about. Okay, so what did I do today? I said that I have to follow through and I have to walk the walk. So if you go on my channel back far enough, probably back into 2018 or 2019, you will see videos of me when I lived in Manhattan Beach, California. And I was telling you that I was going to get rid of everything that I had, and I was going to just simply leave the country, and I was going to go to Australia, and I didn't know what I was going to find. I didn't know if I was going to survive. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that my soul was telling me I needed to go and surf and live on the beach, and that was where I was going to go try that out first. And I didn't have the money. I had to borrow money, and I had to really put some energy into beefing up my channel and beefing up my business so that I, could pull this off. But you'll hear me in those videos talk about how afraid I was, and that I was going to take action. I wasn't going to wait around for everything to line up perfectly. I was going to listen to the joy in my heart when I thought about living on the beach surrounded by eucalyptus trees and koala bears and all the cool stuff that they have, and surfing those beaches there in Queensland. And if you've been on my channel, you know what ended up happening. I got there, and things went well, and I was there for 6 months trying to figure out how I could stay there. And then the pandemic hit, and everything went into lockdown. And the state I was in Australia, which was Queensland, they locked themselves off from the rest of the world. There was no COVID. There was no internal lockdowns. And I lived there for 2 years. I said to the government, hey, I don't want to go back to the United States, to California. People are, there's crazy COVID over there. People are dying. Can I stay here? And I got to stay there for 2.5 years. And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't listened to my soul, which was telling me, I really want to do this. If I had listened to all of the rational thinking that went on in my head, and if I listened to all of the rational advice that people gave me, well, you should spend some more time, maybe you should save some money, don't borrow money, you should, do this and do that, spend another year, scrimp and save. But if I had done that, I would have been in LA, and I would have gotten COVID, and it would have been the bad kind, not the easy kind that's running around now. So I made that decision today. I've been thinking about it, and all of the restrictions are gone, so I can go there, and I don't have to worry about any of that getting in the country. So I pulled out my credit card and I spent huge amounts of money. The ticket prices are double what they were. And I rented myself a place in February. This is in February. That hurt. It hurt and it was scary. All that money and, back to the same thought process I was in, 3 years ago with, oh my God, how am I going to afford this? And what am I going to do? And I said, you know what? I've got to follow through what I tell my students to do. So know, guys, that the things that I tell you to do, I do myself. So what is the one thing that breaks a hole wide open in the matrix? It is taking risks. Doing the thing that you are most afraid of doing. That blows a hole wide open in the wall of the matrix and you walk right through. So to understand what the matrix is, you need to understand how physical reality is manifested. And I'm not just talking from, a pseudo-spiritual point of view. I'm talking about from physics. From the standpoint of theoretical physics, the physical world that we live in is continuously being created based upon your preferred intent, your preferred viewpoint, your desire, or what I should say, your expectation, your preferred expectation. Now, if you've been programmed, as many of you are, if you've been programmed to be a frightened victim, and any of you who believe that archons, false beings of light are doing it to you, if you believe that the cabal, secret government, which does exist, has the ability to keep you enslaved, if you have any of these beliefs that anything outside of you is damaging you, you, according to what I'm saying, forgive me for saying so, forgive me for being so blunt, you're a coward. And you want me to co-sign that for you. If what you want to do is argue with me. If what you want to do is argue with me and say that you are a victim and that you can't help it and you don't understand, and if you get angry, I still get comments all the time from older videos, even new videos, and when I say that you create your own reality, and if you live in a reality where you feel victimized, that is your creation. That is your preferred expectation. And the physical stuff that makes up physical reality responds to your preferred expectation. Again, this is physics talking. It's not just spirituality. And that's what manifests. And when I tell people that you've created that, they get angry with me. And they want to argue with me and they call me names. And in fact, they're really mean. They get really personal. They attack me personally and all kinds of, they just get really angry. And I say, so let me get this straight. You want me to tell you you're a victim. Is that right? You're wanting me to tell you that yes, you are a helpless victim and nothing you do will save you. And of course, they don't have any response to that, but that's exactly what they're saying. They're angry with me because I've said, if you've created your miserable reality, that means you can create your perfect reality. And what is that block? I experience it also. I'm no different than you. When I was sitting here just hours earlier today going, okay, I can't think of any good reason to stay here. I know where I want to be. And the only thing that's stopping me is the idea of not having enough money. That's the only thing stopping me. And the truth is if I finagle this and if I finagle that, I can put myself in a frightening position financially, but I can do it. So I don't have any excuse. I know what my soul wants me to do. So I'm going to do it. And I have to once again take the risk and trust, just as I have every single time I've jumped off the cliff. Every single time. My entire life, whenever I've jumped off the cliff, whenever I've taken action towards what I want, that was more than I could possibly afford, or for whatever reason, was beyond my ability. Whenever I jumped off the cliff, every single time, the universe shows up and throws resources at me. There was one time, this was when I was in Australia, and I became aware that I owed a lot of money on taxes. A lot more than I had. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay these taxes? And I did something that I was hesitating on doing. In fact, I was afraid to do it, which was I introduced a new teaching that I had been holding back on. I introduced that teaching, and within just a couple of days, I had $30,000. I was like, what? The universe has to provide you with the resources you need for you to do your job, which is to make yourself happy. And by making yourself happy, you empower, and through your example, you teach other people how to take action on that. And if everybody, I'm telling you this, if everybody in the world was acting on what gave them joy, there would be no war, there would be no poverty, there would be no unnecessary illness. All those things would be gone. The reason that we have poverty, war, illness, mental illness, sadness, depression, the reason why we have those things in the world, very simply, is because people are operating from fear instead of joy. That's it. It's very simple, but it's not easy. So why are you unable, if you feel that you are, why are you unable to escape the matrix? It's very simple. You're not taking any risks. It's possible you might be in conflict over knowing what your soul wants. You might be in conflict over what truly makes you happy, which may mean you might feel guilty about it. My experience is that most people feel shame about the thing that they truly want. And so, in order not to feel shame, you won't take action on it. You won't take action on what you truly want. And so again, forgive me for being blunt, but it's about being cowardly. It's fear. We live in a three-dimensional universe that is built for warriors. Not warriors that go out and cause damage to other people, but warriors who are willing to die in the struggle to achieve their own greatest desires. That's all this life is. I've come to find out that, as I've said in previous videos, that three-dimensional reality is the abnormal state in the entire multiverse. Meaning anywhere else in the universe, probably. Maybe there's some other 3D planets I'm not aware of. But you go into any other place in the universe besides 3D Earth, and the norm is love, cooperation, friendliness, happiness, joy, peace, cooperation. In other societies in this universe, they don't have politics, they don't have banks, they don't have any of that stuff. People are supported simply by being who they are. And they don't have to struggle. 3D Earth, we have to do that because this is a pressure cooker. This is the place where souls come when they want to get strong. When souls want to become really strong and learn how to create, learn how to manifest, they come here. So if in some other civilization, in some other dimension or some other planet in our multiverse, if a soul says, you know what, I really, really want to learn I want to create a planet. I want to build and create a planet and put life on it. I think that would be really cool, but I don't think I have the power. Well, I guess I'm going to have to go to Earth. And they would go to Earth and incarnate on Earth maybe hundreds of lifetimes. Your lifetime that feels like it goes on forever, when you're in between lifetimes, it was like a dream that just lasted for a few minutes. Have you ever done this? Have you ever been, this happens to me all the time, especially now as I'm getting to be an old man. But, if I've been exercising all day or whatever, and afternoon I come home and I just want to sit back and watch television and I'll fall asleep. And, you fall asleep for just like 30 seconds. And then you wake up. But in those 30 seconds, you have this complete dream that feels like it lasts for hours. But you were only asleep for 30 seconds. That's what your life is here. The life that you spend all this time thinking about how horrible things are, and you feel sorry for yourself, and you feel miserable, and you feel trapped. It's just a blink of an eye. It's over. When you're out of the body, you're like, oh, that was quick. Okay, well, I didn't quite accomplish what I wanted. I'm going to go back. And you go back in and you lift those spiritual weights, because in 3D Earth is really where you learn how to manifest. Because if you do not put the effort, if you're not clear about exactly what you want, and if you're not willing to go against all of your resistance and all of your fears, and if you're not willing to go against all of the bad advice you're going to get from people like, you shouldn't do that right now, and oh no, that's a silly, you can't be a ballerina, there's no money in that, whatever. If you don't have a clear idea of what you want, and if you don't work to accomplish it, you won't manifest anything. You will stay in the matrix. The matrix is designed to keep you in that state where you don't do anything. You think you're trapped, but you're trapped in the same way that some guy who just took a big drag off of his bong can't get out of his chair. Man, I can't even move, man. That's what it is. You just get into a state of being. You have your crappy job. You have your crappy relationship. You have the self-directed negativity that just flows. You don't even have to work at it. It just flows through you without even thinking about it. And then you're just sitting there, man, and you've just like in your chair, and it's like, yeah, man, the elites are doing it to me, man. And then you can't get up out of your chair to go to the refrigerator and get yourself whatever it is you want to eat because you got the munchies. You've got to put the effort in, and you've got to be willing to take risks. You've got to be willing to do the thing that is the most frightening to you, to get the thing that you want the most. You've got to be willing to feel all of the shame that comes up when you go beyond your matrix. The matrix won't trap you unless you choose not to take any action. So the one thing that you can do to bust that matrix wide open and walk through it is to take risks. Do frightening things that will give you what you want. Otherwise, you can just sit around and complain and continue to feel crappy. Or, like I was I've gone through this a lot, and I was thinking about it today, again, because I was like sitting there with my credit card going, do I really want to pay all this money? And I was saying to myself, well, if you're going to be poor and frightened about money, you might as well be in some place you'd rather be. So at least you'll be someplace that you want. And you'll be worried about stuff. If you're going to be sitting around worried about things, do you want to be worried about things here where it's not really where you want to be, or do you want to be in your perfect scenario? So things could be a lot worse. All right, so that's it. I think I've made my point. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to take questions if there are questions. Again, I see some names on here that look new to me. And again, that's why I said earlier, this channel is about doing the exercises. And if you're just coming on here to just listen to what I have to say, even if you like it or don't like it, you're getting almost nothing out of this channel if you're not doing the energy practices. And my challenge to any of you is, pick one. I don't care what it is. If you're smart, you're going to pick the 90-day challenge, because that is the most advanced spiritual energy practice in the history of the human race. I know that sounds like a big deal, but I've done a lot of them. I can't say I've done all of them, but I've done a lot, and I've seen all of the ones that are supposed to be, ooh, that's a really powerful, sacred, secret, blah. And they're nothing compared to the stuff that I'm teaching up here. They're nothing compared to this, that's for sure. The 5-element Mao Shan stuff. And I forgot what I was saying. Do the energy. Oh, my challenge to you is do one of them. I don't care what it is. Let's say you do the Huul breath, Huul breath. Look it up. If you don't know what it is, you can find it anywhere. Just type it into Google. It'll come up. You'll see videos of me teaching the most basic and yet the most powerful energy meditation, generally speaking, for you. And it will initiate you into this path, and you'll work directly with the ascended masters that work with me. So do the Huul breath and the Awakening the Immortals Qigong. I dare you to do that every single day for a month. And then come back and tell me that your life didn't drastically improve. I dare you. Nobody's taken me up on this challenge yet. If they have, then their life got better. Nobody's ever gotten back to me and said, Mahadeva, I did the Thor's belt every day for a month, and then I did the Huul breath, and my life got worse. Nobody's ever said that. People have said the opposite. They said, I started the 90-day challenge, I'm 30 days into it, and I can't believe how much I've grown, how much I've changed. I'm getting everything that I want. My life is, people have said things like, they'd be much worse off if they hadn't done it. So get up off your rear end, and I challenge you to do any of the practices, the free stuff or the subscription, whichever ones you want. Do it every day for a month. Stop just staying stuck in your head. All right. I don't see any questions here because that's what we focus on most. I do see Vincent, who has shown up. He is one of my Vedic astrologers. You can check him out at vincent.thunderwizard.com. You can get all kinds of good stuff. You see there all the stuff that he offers, and he's got a YouTube channel as well. And then we have Thundra, THUNDRA.thunderwizard.com. Also one of my Vedic astrologers, a powerful healer in her own right. And I don't know, I haven't asked her lately, but I think she's a radio personality. Let's see. What else? Nothing else? No other questions. All right. Well, if you don't have a question, then I guess you hear clearly what I've said and you have no problems with it. It makes perfect sense to you. You are going to get up off your rear end. You're going to think about that one thing that makes you truly happy in your heart. When you think about it, it just brings you the greatest joy. And yet it's that one thing that you've never done, that you're scared of doing. If you don't have any questions, it means you're going to get up off your ass and you're going to go after it, right? Okay, then I will leave you to that. Thank you so much for showing up. And as always, I love you all from the bottom of my heart, and I want nothing else but your happiness, your empowerment. And I am continued to be committed to giving you all of the resources, all of the tools, all of the knowledge that I have. I'm going to share with you on this channel. And together, we can go and live the life of our dreams. That's what I hope for you. All right, that's it. I wish you guys all the best. We'll see you all next time. Take care.